the rest of the chapter, but most of the verses that follow, hence number 2 onwards, are responses by the Lord. Answer given by the Lord in response to Arjuna's question.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the third verse again is spoken by the Lord, but we say Sri Bhagavan Vacha only once when the Lord begins speaking. We do not repeat it at the beginning of every verse that follows. So verse number 3. Okay. So okay. So here in okay, if we look at the synonym and the translation in the library page that we are all looking at on the shared screen, uh, verses 3 and 4 have been clubbed together. I believe it is because they both together they convey a certain meaning which can best be explained only when they are clubbed together. So that's probably the reason verses 3 and 4 have been combined. But we will of course take them one at a time. So the first verse, the third one, uh, I'll just quickly run through the words individually, and then we will move on to the practice. Ye tvaksharam anirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra achalam dhruvam. So, if we look at the synonyms given below, ye, okay, the word ye refers to those who, it is a pronoun. So those who, okay, aksharam. So this word is we came across this word in the first verse of chapter 12 as well. Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what came after that?
Yoga Vitamaha.
Yeah, Tesham ke yoga vittamaha. So aksharam in this context means beyond normal human sensory perception, something that is beyond the perception of the ordinary senses that human beings are equipped with. So aksharam means beyond the perception of the senses. Anirdeshyam, the next word, means indefinite. Avyaktam, meaning unmanifest. We came across this word again in the first word. Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam. Avyaktam means unmanifest. Paryupasate, again to be engaged in worship or to be involved in worship. Sarvatragam. So sarvatragam means omnipresent, all pervading. Achintyam means something that you cannot think of or you cannot conceive in your mind. So achintyam is inconceivable. Sarvatragam achintyam cha. Cha means also or in addition to. The next word, in the Sanskrit text, we see it as one word, but the English transliteration makes it clearer. There they really separate out the words where they must be broken up according to, ideally broken up according to the rules of the Sanskrit language, so it's much easier. Kutastham. The next word kutastham means that which does not change, that which remains constant. The next word achalam means immovable, that which cannot be moved. Chalanam in Sanskrit, the word chalanam in Sanskrit means movement. So when we prefix the letter a to any word, it generally gives the opposite meaning. So vyaktam is something that is manifest. When we prefix the letter a to it, it becomes avyaktam, unmanifest, the opposite. So similarly, chalam means something that can be moved or something that moves on its own, and achalam means immovable. Dhruvam means firm or steady or fixed, like the pole star Dhruva, the story of Dhruva that occurs in the Bhagavad. He was so fixed, he was so steady in his devotion to Krishna that Krishna blessed him with the position of the fixed pole star. So Dhruva meaning fixed or steady. Okay,
yeah,
so that.
Thank you for sharing that, because we just studied Dhruv in the
Oh,
Bhagavad.
really?
Yeah,
That's a nice coincidence.
so thank you for linking that together. Very, very nice.
Thank you. Okay, so that's if you look at the synonyms and the translation in bold below the verse, they have combined the third and the fourth verse together. But let's take the verses one at a time. Okay, so I will start with the first line of this verse, the third verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Ye Tvaksharam.
So you want everybody to
Ye Tvaksharam. Anirdeshyam.
Anideshyam.
Ye Tvaksharam. Anirdeshyam. Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam. Avyaktam Paryupasate. Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam. Anirdeshyam. Avyaktam Paryupasate. Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam. Avyaktam Paryupasate. Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam. Ye Tvaksharam Anirdeshyam. Avyaktam Paryupasate. Sarvatragam. 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 Achintyam cha. Achintyam cha. Sarvatragam Achintyam cha. Sarvatragam Achintyam cha. Sarvatragam Achintyam cha. Kutastham. Kutastham. Achalam. Dhruvam. Kutastham. Achalam Dhruvam. Kutastham. achalam dhruvam.
achalam dhruvam.
From the beginning. Ye tvaksharam
Ye tvaksharam
anirdeshyam
anirdesham
avyaktam paryupasate
avyaktam paryupasate
sarvatragam
sarvatragam
achintyam cha
acintyam cha
kootastham
kootastham
achalam dhruvam
achalam dhruvam
achalam dhruvam
achalam dhruvam
ye tvaksharam
ye tavaksharam
anirdeshyam
anirdesham
avyaktam
avyaktam
paryupasate
paryupasate
ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam
ye
avyaktam paryupasate
ye tava aksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate
sarvatragam achintyam cha
sarvatragam achintya cha
कूटस्थम achalam dhruvam.
kotastham achalam dhruvam.
Okay, now I will recite the whole verse slowly, and then we can all repeat it together. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paripasate sarvatragam achintyam cha kootastham achalam dhruvam.
Ye tava aksharam anidryasham avyaktam pariyupasate sarvatrajam achintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam.
Okay. Prabhuji, could we take it one by one, person to person?
I think let's check the pronunciation. Good.
Yeah, the pronunciation, the main, yeah. The words are fairly simple mainly because we have come across some of these words already previously, so we are more familiar with them.
Yes.
Just a couple of new words.
Yes.
But on the whole, it should be fairly easy.
Good. So who'd like to have a go first?
Shruti and
Yes, Shruti, go for it.
Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam pariyupasate sarvatragam achintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam.
You're going to be teaching this in a couple of years' time, you know that, Shruti. You're good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Can I go, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nanivan.
Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintyam cha kootastham achalam dhruvam.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Excellent. Okay.
Can I have go, Prabhu?
Yes, Kaushalya. Yes.
Ye tava aksharam anirdesham avyaktam pariupasate Sarvatrajam achintyam cha kutastham achalam druham.
Nice, nice, Madhuri. Just a couple of observations. Could you repeat the first line again? The first word, ye tvaksharam. Just that portion, please.
Ye tava aksharam anirdesham avyaktam pariupasate
Okay. So,
sarvatrajam achintyam cha kutastham achalam druham.
okay. The first one, the first line of the verse,
Yeah,
ye tvaksharam. So the twa, the T and the V that you see there in the
yeah,
English separately below,
yeah,
it has been written like that only to explain or to show that it is by itself, it is a separate word. But when you recite it as part of a line, when you do not leave a break in between, it has to be sung together along with the next word. So it is actually ye tu aksharam, three words. If you look at
okay,
if you look at the word by word breakup, the meanings that we have, the synonyms below, uh, they have clearly, they have explained the words individually. So it is ye tu aksharam. It's actually three different words, but when we recite them as part of a sentence, as part of a line, we'll need to combine them. So when we combine them, their form changes,
yeah.
and it becomes ye twaksharam.
Twak.
Ye tvam sharam.
Twak.
Yeah, exactly. Ye twaksharam.
Ye tvaksharam.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's one. And could you please repeat the first
Yes.
word of the second line?
Oh.
Avyaktam.
No,
Avyaktam.
that's fine.
I think it was
Avyaktam
this one.
Paripati, that's perfect. No problem with that.
Sarvatragam. She was saying.
Sarvatragam. Yeah. That's it.
Sarvatragam. Sarvatragam.
Okay. That's fine. Kutastham was also fine. The last word, please.
Ah.
Dhruvam.
Yeah, Dhruvam. So maybe I heard it wrong.
No.
Or
She was saying Druham, but it's
yeah, oh yeah,
Dhruvam.
okay. Yeah, it's Dhruvam. Yeah.
Dhruvam, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Dhruvam. That's it, really. Everything else was perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bhavna Ben, would you like to have a go?
Okay. Ye tvam aksharam aniradhyamsham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatram gama achinteyam cha kutam stham akalam dhruvam.
It's Achalam.
Achalam dhruvam.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that when they write it in the Roman script, when they write it in English, some of the words, the pronunciation for some of the words can become confusing. But that's how it is pronounced in Sanskrit. So, Achalam. Even in Hindi, chalna means walking, right? Or to move. So, chalam means something that is movable. Achalam means something that is immovable, that is firm and steady. So yes, that is achalam. And I think the could you repeat the first word, the first two words of the second line, please?
Second line.
Yeah.
Avyaktam paryupasate.
Yeah, that's fine. The one after that, sarvatragam.
Sarvatram gama
It is
achintya sarvatra gama.
yeah, sarvatragam. So there is
Sarvatra gam.
Yeah, perfect.
Achintrayam.
Achintyam.
Achintyam cha.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Achintyam cha. Okay. The last line, please.
Kutam satam.
Kutastham.
Kutastham.
Yeah. And after that, achalam.
Achalam dhruvam.
Perfect. The very first line, please.
Ye tvam.
It's not tvam, it is ye tvaksharam.
Ye tvaksharam.
Yeah.
Aniradhyash.
Anirdeshyam.
Aniridhya.
Anirdeshyam.
Anirdeshyam.
Yeah.
Ye tvam aksharam anirdeshyam.
It is ye tvaksharam. It's not tvam. Ye tvaksharam.
Ye tva aksharam.
Yeah. Ye tvaksharam.
Ye tva aksharam.
It's not ye tva aksharam. You don't need to pause for that that brief 1 second in between. Like I just said, those are 3 different words: ye, tu, and aksharam. So when you combine them, it's like you saying it fast without pause.
Okay.
So ye tvaksharam.
Ye tva aksharam.
Don't say the
Ye tva aksharam.
Ye tvaksharam. That's it.
Ye tva akaram. Aksharam.
Ye tvaksharam.
Abe sate karna ko. Twak.
Ye tvaksharam.
Yeah, twak.
Ye
Yeah.
tvaksharam.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
It is confusing. So don't worry, Bhavnaben, because it is confusing. But
yeah, but when the split cannot be easy to understand for someone who's for any one of us who is not familiar with the language or is reading it for the first time. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So no problem. Everything, as I say, everything comes with practice. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Would anyone else like to try?
Indulekha Maji?
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
please. Ye tvaksharam anirvedeshyam avyaktam uparyupasate sarvatra gam achintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam.
Perfect. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Navaneet.
Yes, you have been silent. Navneet, we can't hear you, Navneet.
Oh, you're still muted, huh? Oh, no, he's not muted.
No, yeah, he's not muted, but I couldn't hear him.
Tvaksharam nirdesyam apyaktam paryupashate sarvatrakam achintam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam.
Perfect. Very nice. Beautiful. Thank you. Mokshita?
Yeah.
Tvaksharam anirdesyam avyaktam paryupashate sarvatrakam achintam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Very good.
Renuka?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ye tavaksharanam anirdesham avekam tam pariyupasate sarvatre agam achintam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam.
Very nice. Thank you.
Actually, I was just going to ask Renuka, can you just do that first line again?
Yes, Prabhu. Ye vaksaram.
Ye twaksharam.
Twaksharam. Ye twaksharam anirdesam. Ye twaksharam anirdesam.
Ye twaksharam anirdesham.
Ye twaksharam.
Yeah, that's okay, isn't it, Shruti?
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll come. She's got a hang of it. No problem with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Surinder Ananda Leela?
Oh, Hare Krishna, Nitai Gaur Hari.
Yagi.
ये त्वक्षरम् अनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गम अचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम्.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who hasn't?
I think Leela is just doing.
Okay.
अक्षरम् अनिर्देशम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम्.
Beautiful. Lovely.
Mr. Saha?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Itaskaram anidesham avyaktam puripasyote sarvatragam achintam cha kutostham achalam dhruvam.
Very nice. Lovely.
Even with the Bengali accent, that was brilliant.
Very good. Very, very nice. Thank you.
So there's only one left. Now his name is Jishnu. Is he going to
Yes,
go?
no, we haven't heard you yet.
Yatyaksharam anirdesham. Anirdesham avyaktam. Ayaktam pariyupasate. Pariyusate. Sarakam achintyam cha. Achintyam cha. Kutastam achalam dhruvam.
Wow.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Well done,
Hare
Jishnu.
Krishna. Well, that was nice. That was very nice. Everyone. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, should we take any? We have about, I think, 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Should we take any questions or?
Yes, good idea. Any questions on this verse?
Any questions on this verse or any of the previous 3 verses that we have learned so far?
Good.
Shruti, I think she has a question.
I don't understand the meaning at all.
Good.
Prabhuji can explain the meaning.
Can you please explain, Prabhuji?
Okay, we can have a go. So thank you for that. Now remember the first verse. Who was speaking the first verse of this chapter?
Chapter 12, I think it was Bhagavan Vacha.
No, who was the first?
Dhritarashtra Vacha.
No, of the 12th chapter. Who was?
Oh, Evam Satata Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha. And does anybody remember what he asked? Now, it's good to learn the verses, but we must also try to remember what was being said in those verses. Yes, Navneet.
So Arjuna, he asked if devotional service, those who worship the impersonal Brahman or who engage in devotional service to him are not better.
Yeah, he was asking what is better, somebody who's worshipping your personal form or somebody who's worshipping your impersonal, unmanifested form. And Shruti, he answered, Bhagwan, Shri Bhagwan Vacha. And then what was the next line? Anybody remember? Shri Bhagwan Vacha. Anybody remember what the next line is?
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Vishamanu Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate
Very good. So he's answering straight away, that person who is fixing their mind on my personal form, he is considered to be the best. And then here, Shruti, he's answering that person, those who worship my impersonal form, Aksharam Anideshyam, which is not manifested. Paripasate, they worship that unmanifested form. And that form is actually doesn't change. It's immovable. It's fixed. It's kutastam. What's kutastam? Unchanging. So Krishna is saying in the first half, he's describing the unmanifested form. And then in the second half, he goes to explain that it's very, very difficult. It is that person who worships my unmanifested form, it takes him a long time to reach me. Long time to reach me. So that's in the second part of that verse. But in the first part, Shruti, he's just saying that person who worships my unmanifested form, which is unchanging, it is fixed, it is inconceivable, it is all-pervading. So he's just describing his unmanifested form. Does that make sense, Shruti?
Yes, Prabhuji, but which one is the, what is the impersonal form and the unmanifested form?
Okay. Impersonal means that person who doesn't worship his two-handed, three-bending form with the flute.
Oh, okay.
He worships the light emanating from Krishna's body. Because just like the sun, Krishna's body is very effulgent. So that person who worships the effulgence of the Lord, for him it's very difficult to attain bhakti.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah? So that's why he's advising, always try to worship his personal two-handed form with the flute.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Good question.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Navneet, you had a question?
Like that. Why do the two slokas come together?
Like Shruti was very nicely explaining before, Shruti Mataji, she was saying how sometimes, so that we get the full meaning of what is being said, it's the two verses give the full meaning. Just like now, when I was giving the translation, I only could tell you half the story in the first verse. I had to look at the second half to tell you the full story. So the first half is only saying the unmanifested form is fixed, unchanging, all-pervading. But the second half of the verse explains a little bit more. That person who's controlled his senses for a very long time, he will finally achieve me if he is going for this unmanifested form. So we need both verses to have the full meaning of what Krishna is saying. Does that make sense? So for example, let's read the whole verse, right? But those who fully worship the unmanifested, which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable. That's where we stop with the first verse. So that doesn't give us the full picture of what Krishna is saying. That's why the second verse now comes. The impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, that's the part 2. Such person engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. So that from here, by controlling until achieve me, is in this second half of the verse. But we need both to understand the context of what Krishna is saying. Is that okay, Navneet? Does that make sense? It's a good question, by the way. Thank you for asking.
Yes, thank you for that. And thank you for the lovely explanation, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to add anything, Shruti?
No, I think it pretty much your explanation sums up the broad meaning of both the verses together. So when we do the fourth verse, it will be easier for us to
Yeah.
understand. Yes.
True.
Any other specific pronunciation related questions about this verse or any of the other three verses that we have learned before this one? Anyone? Any questions?
No, I don't think they have. I think they're quite happy. Maybe just practice this a little bit more, because it
Yeah.
is. When I was learning this chapter, I must admit, these two verses were quite challenging to remember. So this one, it would be good to practice a little bit more, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Prabhuji, you mentioned Shruti had some
Oh, that's
suggestions.
right. That's right. That's right. We can look at that actually.
Yes.
So, Shruti, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Now let me just have a look at what you were saying. You had good suggestions. Thank you so much for that. So your first suggestion was, is there a way where we can make a group chat on this class so it would be easier to send the link to everyone and send the recordings of the lesson? I think that's a good idea. And if everybody's happy, I can make a group with all the devotees who are coming to this session. And then we will share the recording. I like that idea. Is that okay, Shruti?
Yes. Sharing the audio recording is definitely a good idea. I agree with that. So that way, it allows anyone to listen to it repeatedly, and we are free to practice as many times that we would like. It's easier to revisit. Of course, we are recording this Zoom call as well, but if we were to solely focus on the pronunciation of the verse on the verse itself, then yeah, the audio recording would be a little more helpful. That's okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, okay. So that's part 2. Okay, that's good. So then you can put that on the group chat.
Yeah, but about having a group chat specifically for this class, I know we already have a group. The London Devotees group is already there.
It'll be too much in there, and most of these devotees
Yeah,
are
we
not
have a
on.
lot of content in there already.
Yeah, we'll do a separate group.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. And most of the devotees in this group are not in that main group anyway.
Yeah. A lot of us in this group are not in the other group. Yeah.
So the second point Shruti has made is that, which is that what you just said, you can do a audio on that separate group. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. That's really helpful. And then, oh yes, I think the recitation of the verse. Oh yeah, it's a good point, Shruti, that you're making, that recitation of the verse takes a long time. What I was going to suggest, I usually open up the Zoom meeting 15 minutes earlier. So if anybody wants to do a practice, and I would suggest it'd be good if everybody joins maybe 15 minutes earlier, we could just do a quick practice. Everyone can do a quick practice of the verses. And I'm hoping devotees are memorized. I'm really happy that few devotees have actually memorized. Kaushalya has memorized, Renuka has memorized the verses, and I think Surinder and Ananda Leela. So that's really, really good. I'm so happy because we're trying to ask devotees to memorize these verses. So you can come and do the practice 15 minutes earlier. I'll be on the Zoom, so 6:45. You're welcome to come and we can do a practice. Does that make sense? Is that
Yes,
okay?
Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, Jishnu? Especially you, Jishnu, okay? I want to hear you every time. Okay, that's good. And if
Prabhuji, can we have the audios from the first one?
yes, so Shruti can do maybe all the
Yeah.
4 verses, isn't it?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Fantastic. Anything else? Any other suggestions, Shruti? You made good suggestions, by the way.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Thank you.
No other suggestions, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Well done. You're a good girl. So, Shruti, what do you want to just maybe go through this again? What do you think?
The verse.
Yeah. What do devotees want to do? Do you want to do this number 3 again?
Yes, please.
Yes, yes, I think so. It's a good idea.
Okay. I will recite the verse again slowly, and then we could all chant it together.
Yes.
Ye त्वक्षरम् अनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गम् अचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम्.
Ye tvaksharam
Aksharam anidesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatrajam achintyam cha kutasitham achalam dhruvam.
Very nice. Thank you. Would you like to do it one more time? A few more times? Or okay. Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gam achintyam cha kootastham achalam dhruvam.
Ye tava aksharam anidesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatrajam achintyam cha kutasitham achalam dhruvam.
Okay. Once again. Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gam achintyam cha kootastham achalam dhruvam.
Ye tava aksharam anidesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatrajam achantyam cha kutasitham achalam dhruvam.
Might be just worth remembering what these lines are saying. Yaktaksharam, Vyaktaksharam, basically Krishna is saying Aksharam, that's which is beyond the senses. It's indefinite. Vyaktam, not, you can't see it. And Paryupasate means worship. So those who worship that which you can't see, it's indefinite, beyond the senses, and it's also all-pervading, inconceivable, achintyam, can't even understand what it is. And it's also can't change and immovable and fixed. So this is quite a lot of, he's giving a lot of description to one aspect of his absolute truth. So it's good to just remember this, what he's saying. This unmanifested form is quite incredible. doesn't change, doesn't move. It's all pervading, it's everywhere, it's inconceivable, it's indefinite. Your senses can't perceive it. So it's not a small thing, but it's a very difficult thing to worship. That's the main point. Anybody, any questions on what these words mean at all? Okay. Very good. Anybody want to do any other revision maybe? We got a couple of minutes. Number 2 or number 1, any questions?
Can we check number 2, please?
Yes. Do you want to try it?
I was not there when.
Okay. So, Shruti, would you like to just and then
No, number 2 I was there. Number 1, please. Number 1.
number 1.
Number 1. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, of course.
Thank you so much.
First
Thank you.
one, Arjuna Uvacha. Okay. Arjuna Uvacha. Would you like to do it word by word, or would you like me to recite the verse as a whole? How would you like?
You can recite the verse all, and I will check, please. If I don't understand, I will ask.
Okay. Okay. Arjuna Uvacha. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittama.
Thank you. Thank you. The ye chapyaksharam, that why I could not get properly. So can I try, please?
Yes, of course. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktyastvam paryupasate ye chapsaram ye chap. That one I don't get it properly. Ye
You said it right the first time.
avyaktam tesam ke yoga vittama.
Very nice. Ye chapyaksharam, you said it right
Yes.
the first time. You got it
Yeah,
perfect.
that one I could not get. Ye chapaksharam. Is it ye chapaksharam?
It is ye chapyaksharam. So that year,
Oh,
that
thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, the Y, right?
yeah,
Ye
the word.
chapyaksharam. Ye
Yeah, ye
chapyaksharam avyaktam. Okay, can I try once more, please?
Of course, yes.
Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktyastvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesam ke yoge vittama.
Very nice.
Did I get it correctly, the third line?
Yeah. If you would like to repeat it once more, you can do that. No problem.
Ye chapyaksharam.
Very good. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward for the recording. Thank you so much. You are taking your time and your energy, and you are just trying to instruct us. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
And she's so good.
It's an honor for me.
Yes. Yes, she's so good. Yes.
The Lord is kind.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.